How did you discover the power of social media? What was it that got you interested in it?
Starting seeing a few people globally, putting up properties on social media and stuff like that. And I didn't know anything about generating business out of social media.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Luxbridge Show. This is a show where we decode the dream of anyone who is looking to follow his dream. Dreams are different for everybody. We all know that. But each of us have a different path to the same destination. My guest is very well known to a lot of people in the industry, which is in real estate and otherwise also. He's got a very interesting journey. And he's definitely one of my heroes I've looked up to ever since I've joined the business in 2021. They say when you meet your heroes, you don't know what to expect. But when I met him, he superseded all my expectations. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of John Spinu, my CEO, on behalf of Vincent, my director, on behalf of myself, D, and on behalf of the Luxbridge International Realty Show, Mr. Tahir Majithia.
Thank you so much, Dhiraj.
Most welcome. Let's jump right into it. How and when did all this happen?
What do you mean all this?
How did the magic of you choosing in 2014 to come into realty happen?
I mean, see, I'm originally from India, Bombay, and I was always into real estate back in India also. It's been my family business. So this is something which came, kind of naturally. I did try a few other businesses in my, when I just started out and, but somewhere my dad used to always tell me that, look, this is what you know, this is where you'll make money. But I always wanted to try. Tried a few small things here and there, didn't really work out. And then, real estate was something which I was doing all, for a very long time. And I came to Dubai first time, I still remember, I came to Dubai in 2005. And I fell in love with the place, And from then, I've been visiting Dubai very often. And I always had this somewhere back of the mind that I want to move to Dubai. And then, somewhere 2013, 14, I got an opportunity to move. And then I decided, yes, I want to take this and just come. And I just made the move, I mean, it's, as you just said, it was a dream. And I said, okay, let's try it out. And here I am, it's been 10 plus years now. And Dubai is home.
Touchwood.
Yeah.
10 plus years. Let's start on your journey. You are probably one of the few people who's extracted the best out of social media. Your approach is very unique. I want to jump right into that first. How did you discover the power of social media? What was it that got you interested in it?
I mean, initially I also went, I starting seeing a few people globally, putting up properties on social media and stuff like that. And I didn't know anything about, generating business out of social media. But then I saw that it's growing. So I was very curious to understand. And what happened is, I was doing a lot of research, thinking for a very long time. Then one fine day I was like, I need to do it. And, and there's another, he's a good friend and, also someone in the real estate industry, Daniel Garofoli. Okay. He started using social media even before me. And I still clearly remember he hosted a workshop where I attended that workshop to understand that, what is this guy talking about? Is this about, how to sell on social media and what is he doing? And that, when he shared some insights, that was like really helpful. And I was like, man, if he can do it, why can't I? And I just, that made me say, okay, let's do it. And that's where I started slowly. And then there have been a few people in my journey who've really helped me, motivated me, the likes of Gary Vaynerchuk, even, someone who's from Dubai, Spencer Lodge. His content really actually helped me. I attended a couple of, his workshops and, when I started seeing, I was like, okay, this can work, when I'm seeing people do it. And, so then that's how I started. And when you talk about uniqueness or something, the only thing which I've always made a point is to be 100% genuine, to be myself, and not fake anything. So whatever you see on social media is 100% pure me. If you see me the way you see me on social media, the same way I am in real life.
True.
On the contrary, there'll be a lot of things which probably I might not show on social media, but in real life might be there. But social media it's nothing is fake. I don't do things just for the likes or views. I do it to give value to people who are watching it.
We were talking off camera.
Yeah.
You said something very powerful. You said that you are neither off plan or secondary. You're about the client.
Yes.
Let's go there.
I mean, for me, it has always been about, first of all, yes, a lot of people say specialization. Yes, specialization is good. But when you talk about real estate, right, property is property.
True.
Every off-plan property becomes a ready property.
True.
Okay? So, to me, especially from, because I come from India, you don't really find, and especially in Bombay, in a city like Bombay, there is not this differentiation of off-plan specialist or ready specialist, okay? Most of the people would do both because usually it's about the relationship with the client and building that trust with the client and, whether it is off-plan or ready. So for me, I never focused whether I only want to sell ready properties or an off-plan property. I said, look, I strongly believe that when you want to make a deal, right? So what is a deal? A deal, or what a broker does, whether in an off-plan or in a secondary market property, ready property. In a ready property, you are bridging the buyer and the seller, getting them together. In an off-plan property, you're getting the developer and the buyer together. Basically, two sides. You have to put them together. I believe that if you have one side in full control of you, the job is done.
Right.
When you're dealing in a secondary market, and if you are, say, selling a property, if the seller is, exclusive with you or in complete control, saying, look, Tahir, whatever you decide, I trust your judgment, go for it. Deal is done. Deal is done in the sense you have control. Someone will come and buy it. Same way, if the buyer is completely in your control, he says, okay, listen, go ahead. You have the full authority. Go close on my behalf. You can do that. And same way for off-plan. If the buyer says, okay, I want to buy this property from so-and-so developer, go and get me the unit. That's the thing. So I personally feel if the client is in your hand and if has complete trust on you and faith on you, you are going to sell him or sell for him either ways.
Right.
So, why, and most of the people focus on either the property or focus on the client, because eventually who pays the commission? Client pays the commission. Okay. If client is happy, client makes money, you make money automatically.
Right. Byproduct.
Yeah, it's the byproduct. So just take care of your clients and that's it.
I'm going to stitch this up with something, but in between, let me ask you. You're also an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You have your own company. Give us a brief about that.
So I started, my own company about 3-4 years back, just during the time of COVID. And one of the main reasons was that, I felt that, that now it's time to grow. Prior to 2020, I was working with other companies and, as a broker. And I felt now it's time to grow because my number of clients have increased. I need to get people and I need to grow. And that's how, I started. Initially, when I started, so it's me and my business partner. When we started, our aim was just to cater to our clients and, just have maybe 1 or 2 people on the team. But, alhamdulillah, things went well. Social media started doing wonders for us. And there were more inquiries than I could handle. So then there came a time, okay, let's hire a few people. So first we hired 3-4 people. We need more because that's also not. So that's, that way we've grown to about 20 people today in the company. And inshallah soon, slowly we'll, plan to grow because, if end of the day, we've realized that today I can say that, okay, there are a few brokers who started working with me, and they themselves they were new, they were freshers, they were not really from the industry. We trained them, gave them all the support. We see them doing good. So now the whole focus is now to empower them and make them grow, because as they grow, byproduct is our company will grow.
True,
and we'll grow.
very true.
So,
That's a
the
very
focus.
long-term approach.
Yeah, I mean, look, real estate is a long-term game. Nothing happens, short-term over here. So, so that's what we're thinking.
That's amazing. Something interesting. Just to take another person who I follow a lot and I idolize a lot, I can say, is Jade Morris of Jade & Co.
Yes.
She too, shout out to Jade, she too has started her company, or had started a company in the 2020 period.
Yes.
Right, the toughest period. Now, why bring this up? Because a lot of our viewers and listeners are entrepreneurs. They're not necessarily in the business of real estate, but entrepreneurship cuts across everything. Every entrepreneur, when they sit down, they have something in common: risk-taking. And risk-taking is probably the single most fearful or rewarding thing that can be, right? And there's no risk, there's no reward. So as an entrepreneur, now you moved from being a broker. It was a steady, I don't want to say steady income per se, but it was much less riskier than being...
It was less work, you can say.
There you go. It was less work.
Yeah.
Then you decided, okay, I want to get better, I want to get stronger, take more risks, and I want to get out of my comfort zone. How do you keep yourself going? And what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs who are looking to get into whatever their field of entrepreneurship is?
Look, for me particularly, right, when you see growth,
Right.
it automatically motivates you. And, we've been seeing great growth, and we've seen our people growing.
Right.
So for me personally, when I see, people who are working with us grow, trust me, that's one of the best feelings, at least to me, that when I feel that, okay, this person started working with us, had, was not doing so well, and today, if, they're doing good. So that really motivates us, that gives us a very good feeling. It's a great, satisfaction you get out of it. And not only that, obviously we are, it is something which you then want to, grow, and you want to build something which is then a brand,
a legacy.
A legacy. And, it's, I also feel that motivation is something which also for everybody is different.
Right.
Okay. Some people get motivated by seeing some other people, but at the same time, some people get demotivated by seeing some other people. Right. Same way, some people are really happy when they see someone doing well. Some people get jealous,
Unfortunately.
So it's everybody's motivation is different. Someone is motivated to achieve something. That could be a target which they've said. They want to buy a specific car or whatever. Someone is motivated by that. I want to, buy a house for myself or whatever. So everybody's motivation is different. But I think that one thing which really motivates us is we just want to do more and more. Dubai is a place. I think Dubai motivates me.
True.
Because here, no matter what you do, right, there's someone doing better than you.
True.
So that is something which I think Dubai as a city, especially if you're an entrepreneur, this is a place which, you can find so much more, so much motivation, hunger to do better.
Energy.
That everybody is trying to do something better.
Right. You're always trying to get better each and every day.
Everything. I mean, if you see the city, right, you just look at the city and they keep trying to do something or the other better and better. And every time you think, okay, this is done, now what? And then few months down the line, something comes up and you're like, oh my God, wow. I couldn't even think of something like this. Right. And it happens. And then a few years down the line, you see that is done also. So it's it's motivation for me somewhere.
Perfect segue. When was your last time, recently, most likely, when was the last time where you felt about yourself that, wow, I didn't think I would do this, but here I am doing it? Like you look at yourself in the mirror. What was that incident? You can just share something.
I mean, so I would say just a few months back when we were seeing the kind of numbers we did, in this year, and we were ourselves shocked that we didn't think that we would do this.
Right.
Okay, alhamdulillah, things have went
Alhamdulillah.
great, and so we feel that we didn't expect we would probably do it in this span of time. But then it's again hard work and efforts, not just of me but my entire team.
Of course.
It's not me alone.
Of course.
And one thing which I realized is, someone had taught me this at a very young age. Obviously that uncle had told me this in Hindi, but I'll convert this in English and
So you can say it in Hindi also, and then we can translate.
It's fine,
Yeah.
So, okay, I can say it both, right? So once I was, one of my dad's friend, we were having lunch together, and he said, he told me one thing, that he's like, beta, jab tak tum kaam kar rahe ho na, tum 10 आदमी का काम कर लोगे, but जिस दिन तुम काम कराना जान लोगे ना, तुम लाख आदमी का काम करोगे, right? And this all somewhere stuck in my head from a very long time. And when I started getting a team on board and all, I was like, now I need to stop doing few things, right?
Delegate.
I need to let them do it, right? It took me, it took us a long time to train also, a lot of questions from new people, etc., etc. But once they were trained, we then started seeing results. And they were like, okay, yes, that's the time I was like, okay, this is what, having a team is where the advantage is. Yes, it takes a lot of time, energy, to do it. But once you start doing it properly and you do it in a proper manner, then there's no stopping.
For those of us who don't understand Hindi, could you translate that for us, please?
So this basically means that, as long as you're doing good work, you probably could work, say, equivalent to 10 people.
Right.
But the moment you can get people to work for you, you can do a work of 100,000 people,
Right.
So I just thought that, okay, I want to get more people now. So the aim now is to grow the company more, get more like-minded people, get more people on board, and grow.
So, Tahir, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I could be an entrepreneur broker, which is what is a term I'm trying to float around a lot with the new people who join in. Not that I'm very old in the industry, I'm just 3 years old. However, as an entrepreneur broker or as a full-time entrepreneur of any business that I want to start, there's a lot of hesitation in me. What if? What will people say? I was successful. What will people say now? What will they think? How do you overcome this sort of negativity?
See, it's not easy. Yes, obviously, even today, till date, I also sometimes get these thoughts, what will happen?
Oh, really?
What if this? But then I have to tell myself, okay, listen, the people who are thinking about this are not paying my bills, right? If it's something which is thought by people who really matter to me, which is my family, that what will my kids think, what will my wife think, or what will my mom think or my sister think, if that I have to think, then it's a thing which I will reconsider. But if it's anyone else, I don't care.
That's right.
Right? I'm doing it as long as I'm not doing anything illegal or wrong or disrespecting someone or going against the law. It's okay. It's a lot of times as an entrepreneur you want to start. You think if it's a calculated risk which you can always think that, okay, what if it doesn't work? Am I able to sustain and stuff like that? I don't think you should really think too much. You have to take some risks. I've taken a lot of risks. Some turned out well, some turned out to be a disaster. But then you get to learn only in things which turn out to be a disaster.
So beautifully said.
Unless you don't fall, you don't learn.
Right.
It's a part and parcel. You just need to be focused and just think that, okay, fine, it'll happen.
So there's more to learn in failure than there's to learn in success.
100%. I've learned so much from deals which didn't work out than deals which worked out. But like, for example, if you ask me, okay, if you close this big ticket item, what did you learn? Trust me, I'll be blank.
Right.
But if you ask me things on what did you learn from this deal which didn't work out, then I can tell you I learned this should have been done this way. I shouldn't have done this. I should have done the, But things which work out and you think you'll be blank. You'll like, okay, what did I learn? Not much.
Very interesting. So, my takeaway from this is, as an entrepreneur, risk taking is a part and parcel of the game. Right?
Absolutely.
You learn through failure. So, would you say analysis paralysis is one of the problems that most of us, either as an entrepreneur broker or as an entrepreneur, have, that we overthink a decision?
See, sometimes, yes, a lot of people overthink. Also, one thing which I feel that nowadays I think is that a lot of people start comparisons. Right? Giving you an example, okay, say you are an entrepreneur, you want to start something, you go on social media and talk about your business, and you're like, oh, but I don't have followers. That person has 1,000,000 followers, 100,000 followers. But look, one time that person was also zero.
Oh,
right?
fair point.
I mean, I started my YouTube channel sometime in 2020. I had 0 followers, So what? But it's about starting and doing it. So I think a lot of people overthink sometimes, and a lot of people also, I think, also what really matters is who you talk to and who you listen to. If you're talking to the right people who can guide you on the right thing, that is very important. And this is something which I've realized, that if I have to take advice, I will take advice on any specific topic from a person who knows much more than me on that thing. It doesn't mean that if I have to take advice, I have to go to my best friend or someone. Maybe he doesn't know. So why should I listen to it? I'm not that, he has anything bad about or whatever. But if I'm taking advice on a business matter, I need to make sure it's from someone who's 10 steps ahead of me, has seen a lot more than me.
Right.
So he'll be able to guide me the right way. If I have to take advice on, on buying a car, I'll probably ask someone who's a car enthusiast, who's done a lot more research,
Right.
than me, or probably owns more cars than me. He'll give me a proper feedback that, look, this is the thing. So, this is what I feel, that when you're thinking, right? If you are sitting with a friend of, say, for example, you have a dream, you want to do something really, and you have a friend who's a very good friend of yours, doesn't think bad about you and all, but he doesn't have a dream, his motivation is nothing in life, he's got a nice job and he's very happy. He'll be telling you, why are you doing this? Oh no, there's so much risk, this. But if you sit with someone who's taken a risk, gone ahead in life, done 10 things more than you, he'll be like, yeah, why don't you try it? What's the harm? What is going to happen? What's your plan B? What happens if you fall? Right? He'll motivate you. So that's also, I think, somewhere, when people want to do something, it's very important who you're talking to.
That's such a good point. In fact, very few people have raised that point, that choose your counsel very carefully. Your board.
Look, this is something, my dad taught me this, that when you're asking for advice, right, ask someone who knows much more than you in that, or knows much more about that specific field. Right? If it's related to your health, if there's a doctor who's a specialist, if he says something, you don't listen to someone else saying so whatever. He's a specialist, he's a doctor, he knows what is to be done. Right? Same way today, when people come to buy a property, a lot of times people go and think that they will decide on themselves, right? But if you go to a person who's got experience, who's a broker, who's a professional, he'll tell you what is to be done.
Winning trust. Right, I get a sense every time I've watched you over these years, I've interacted with you on social media, and I must say he's very, very prompt on social media.
Thank you.
You have a natural, I don't want to say a natural gift, because I know you've worked at it. What is your fundamental for winning trust? Like, you started at the podcast by saying, I'm 100% me. How do you build on that?
So look, 2 things. One, I stick to what I say. So one is, if I'm saying I'm doing this genuinely and this is real, it is real.
Right.
I don't do anything which you will find fake. Right? You'll never see me, flashing anything on social media or doing anything. No, because I don't like to. Right? People who know me. I don't, try to attract attention by showing off something else.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. Second thing is, when you're being yourself. You don't need to be someone else when you meet someone.
Right.
So if you are the way you are on social media, you meet someone, you will be the same person.
It's easier.
It's easier, right? So that is something I think. Thing. And second thing, I feel that one thing which I've always made sure is that whatever I put out on social media, I try to be as factually correct as possible.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's why you'll never see me doing predictions. Okay. I'll never do predictions. I will give my advice saying I feel this is a great investment property, but I never say this property will appreciate by 50%.
Right.
No. Because that is not in my hands.
True.
That is in nobody's hands. Okay. I can say that I feel the markets will go up from here or markets will correct. Okay. But I cannot control that.
Right.
So I don't speak about anything which I cannot control.
Right.
Right. If I know something that this is a great developer, I love what the layout is like, or I love the location and the potential of it, I'll speak about it 100%. Right. But I will never say this. At the same time, I never go and tell people, oh, see, this client of mine made so much money or this money or that money. No. That's something which is very confidential for my clients and for me to know. That's it. Right. If someone is sitting with me one-to-one, I have proof. When I can share things.
Right.
Look, this is the thing. You want this is the thing. So that's how, I think people, when they see you, the biggest thing is, when, as they say, the first impression is the last impression.
True.
Right? So when people see you on social media, that's one impression.
Right.
When they meet you in person,
Right.
it has to match.
Otherwise, they say don't meet your heroes.
Yes, if it doesn't match, right, and if you're a different person, then it's gone. This person was like this, and now he's like. So it's just being. And for me, it's been very clear. Look, I want to be as real and truthful as possible. That's it.
You're very down to earth. This has been my impression of you in person, on media, and also when I watch you, right, our texting and so on and so forth. Obviously, with your continued success, alhamdulillah, okay, and your team success, alhamdulillah, and your company success, how has your relationship with money, has it changed? And how do you still keep grounded? Like how do you keep it down?
See, Dhiraj, I'll tell you something. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've seen ups and downs. Money is important. There is no doubt about it. But it's not, everything is not about money. It's not about that, it's only about money. Yes, money is very important. There's no two ways about it. But it's, because I've seen ups and downs, it doesn't really, change me or affect me as a person that, it's not something which I'm seeing for the first time. So, it's not something which I'll feel that, okay, if tomorrow I have X amount of money or X amount of assets or something, it's going to change me. No, it's, I've realized this, that the more grounded you are, the better, it's just something which comes over a period of time, and you realize that, because money is there, money can go. Right. Once you see money go, right, that's the time you realize that, okay, it can go. And so then you are not really this thing. So you are always, back of the mind, it's like, look, this is there.
Don't take it too seriously.
You don't take it this thing. It can go. So you just keep working. Just keep going at it. Don't think this one deal, and this is true for if any of the brokers are watching it, especially if they're new in the industry.
Please.
Don't think you did one big deal and you're a superstar. No. That is not going to last. That deal is done. Money comes. It doesn't stay forever. So, you have to start looking for the next deal. So, that's what keeps you grounded also. It's like, okay, it's there. But what if it doesn't happen next?
That's your reality check.
That's the reality check. So you have to keep working on it.
How does someone at your status and your success stay consistent?
See, staying consistent is very difficult.
Yes.
But once you realize that that is the only way to go ahead and to keep things moving, it automatically comes. Because if I am not consistent and if I don't keep, say, making sure the company is doing well or, things are going forward, it'll not take, because look, bills are consistent. Your expenses are consistent.
True.
So your earning also needs to be consistent.
True.
So if it is not consistent, then, there's going to be an imbalance. Yeah.
Very, very true. So your point of view is very clear that consistency is a given.
It is. You have to.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Because if you're not consistent, right, it doesn't work. And as I said, I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, right? I'm not, someone who says no. No. I've made a lot. I've learned a lot from my past mistakes, and that's how I'm today. More focused on being consistent, and that's what I tell anybody. That look, if you want to do something, you'll have to keep doing it. Don't think one is done. Something happens, go celebrate, no problem. But come back to work and start working on it. The next one, because one is done. What about the next?
True. I was having a DM conversation, like I always do at odd times of the day and night, with Chris Boswell.
Yeah.
Chris is, shout out to Chris. Chris is in New York as we speak.
Yes.
And I told him that he was keeping in touch. He's like, who's your next guest? And I said, you're my next guest. He says, very nice person, very down to earth, very easy.
Chris is an amazing guy. And see, when you see these guys, right, you learn.
Yes.
Right? You learn what is to be done, what is not to be done. So you need to know, like, for example, he's been in the market for so long.
Right.
He's seen the market go through cycles. So, when you speak to someone like that, you get to know a lot more.
Right.
And you have to be, on it. You can't give up. And I if you see, right, a lot of people think that success or, being successful is like, reaching somewhere. But that's not the case. Success is not a destination. It's a journey.
As cliched as that sounds.
It is. You have to keep going. The moment your journey stops, your success finishes. Right? Because if you see today, okay, whether you talk about the richest people in the world, okay, you talk about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, whoever, right? Have they stopped working? No. Look at Bill Gates.
Yes.
They don't need to, right? They say they can probably retire and they can spend, but then what happens? That they don't remain there. Right? They can't grow. And they still want to grow. So, and then the only way you keep growing is if you keep doing.
That's a wonderful takeaway. The only way to keep growing is if you keep doing.
Yeah, because you can't.
Definitely. We have our podcast in chapters. I think we're going to name this chapter that. The only way to keep growing is to keep doing. Yeah, you're so right.
No, because that's what, I've realized this, that, whenever, if I look back in things, I said, okay, if I would have done this earlier, probably I would have done more, So the only way is like, you keep doing. You keep adding stuff and you keep doing stuff.
You're a hardcore prospector. Right? And I take this statement from Chris Boswell also. He's a hardcore prospector. You guys technically don't need to prospect because a lot of people know you. Having said that, you're never satisfied in the positive way.
Yeah.
You're always looking to prospect more, right? Prospecting is hard. It's really, really hard because you have to cold knock. Everybody cold calls in one way or the other. How do you keep yourself motivated on that ground?
See, 10 years back, prospecting was different.
Right.
Today it has changed a lot.
Right.
Because of social media.
Right.
It's way easier for you to prospect via social media today by putting out content.
Right.
And in this way, what happens is you don't really need to push sell, but there's pull sell. Right?
Beautiful.
Where people see and they come to you. What happens is there are two different things, right? Knocking on someone else's door and asking permission to get in versus someone else knocking on your door. Big difference.
Big difference.
Right? Social media has enabled that people then come knocking to your door,
right,
saying, listen, this is what I want,
right,
or this is what I
right,
need.
Right.
Help me with
Pull
this.
sell.
Pull sell. Right. So the more you try to do that, the easier prospecting becomes. obviously there are traditional ways of prospecting, which still work, and they will, I believe, always work. But you have to understand times are changing. Okay, today, for instance, you're sitting in a place like Dubai, which is becoming, a global real estate destination for people from around the world
Yes.
to invest in. How much can you travel in? Which all cities will you go?
True.
But with probably one viral Instagram reel, you can reach hundreds of cities, tens of countries in one go, right? And you can have people from all
Any time
places,
zone.
any time zone, coming knocking to you, saying, tell me more. So that's very important. But you don't always. You all have to remember that this is just, when someone comes to you or you go knocking on someone else. So that's one thing. But after you open the door, how you speak to the person, what you do, how you take care of the relationship, that still matters the same way. Okay. And that's something which people need to keep, take note of, that, you need to then take care of the client, build a rapport, build a relationship, ask for referrals, that's very important.
Fundamental truth.
Yeah. The fundamentals have to be right.
Right. So this takes us to the next question. Is AI a competitor or a colleague in this journey?
I think, technology as per se, I think we need to use technology, right? I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years down the line, I don't know what happens, right? But at least from what I see, the way AI is and all, you can use it to your benefit. End of the day, the human touch makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
Okay? It makes a big difference. People like to speak to people. And no matter what, whether you're talking to, there's a difference. Even, say, when you're talking to someone on a WhatsApp chat, and if it's a bot, your mindset is different.
Right.
Because it's a bot. Say it's a parcel coming and DHL sends you a WhatsApp message, it's a bot, right? It's not some person talking to you.
Right.
Whereas versus if someone else is, so the human touch, I think, is always going to play an important role. And I think we as humans all need that.
People buy from people?
Yeah, people buy from people. And, they I think, that experience is, I think, is always going to be there. Now, AI could help you make decisions and this and that. Yes, but will it replace people completely? That, I think, is something which is... And look, AI is also being taught what is available, right? But humans have a capacity to think beyond.
Out of the box.
Yes.
I'm going to bring in Danielle White, who was our client, who was our guest just before this. She's the CEO of the Power of Speaking company. She is basically a wonderful lady who teaches, an educator, who teaches public speaking. She raised a very good point, which is attaching exactly to yours, which is being impromptu. Because apparently Ryan Serhant also has a lot of people who he sends his team for impromptu training, because think out of the box.
Yeah.
The client may say something, and shout out to her for her content that she put out with me. So Daniel was also of the opinion that if you're impromptu, if you can master the art of being impromptu, right, you have taken a lot of steps ahead of any competition, be it software or hardware or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you manage and how do you train yourself in these impromptu situations?
Look, I feel this thing comes also with a little bit of experience.
Skill.
Because when you are in certain situations, and if you've been in those kind of situations more number of times, then you learn. Okay. Then you start thinking differently. Right. So, for instance, if you're trying to do a deal and some roadblock comes, right? Now there are two things. If you're not skilled or you don't have experience, you'll start thinking, oh shit, this is gone. If you're skilled, there must be a way. Let's find a way.
Right.
Let's look at something. How can you do this? How can we do this? What are the options? This is the option. That is the option. What can we do? How can we finish this today? How can we, make sure that this goes through? Right. Or how can we bridge it? So, then you start thinking on those lines.
Right.
And when you start thinking, something will click, some new solution will come.
Eureka
You know,
moment.
and you're like, okay, yeah, this we can do. You know, this can. So you know, it's. I think once you start doing, you can then, you know, get there. But you always have to think. You know, I mean, thinking out of the box is something which you always have to do. Especially in tricky situations, that you have to come up with some solution, and you need to do that quick.
Right.
You know.
Quickly on your feet. Think
Yes.
quickly on your feet. Awesome. Tahir, you're very articulate, right? In your social media and otherwise also, even in this. Yeah, how much of this is effort? Because I know off camera you told us about that journey.
Yeah.
Wherein, see, it's easy to look at you and say, wow, he's so articulate, he's so well spoken, he's so well turned out. Give us an insight on that uphill journey of yours.
See, I'll tell you what I was. So when I started social media, I started during COVID, and I was recording stuff at home and stuff like that. When the restrictions were, so I was like, I need to go through proper training. So I reached out to someone who's, you know, been doing content, who's helped a lot of people make content from a lot of time. He's in the content field since 2007. Okay. And I did a proper, I think, 8-hour workshop with him. So he had a workshop, and, you know, one-on-one with him, sitting, and he taught me. And then I said, okay, listen, you know, I want you to help me create content. And I still remember, okay, the first time I did one proper video for YouTube was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 6 minutes and 32 second long video, which took me about 3.5 hours to record.
Ooh.
Okay, because every time I say something, and this guy's like, no, you know, you have to do this way. And I was like, man, you know, this is crazy. But I'd already paid him, so yeah, I had to do it. So, you know, and then the next time, the 3.5 hours became 1.5, and slowly. And he's now a very dear friend of mine. His name is Raj Kotecha. He runs a company called Creative Content Agency. One of the geniuses when it comes to content. And
I've seen your podcast with him.
Yes, he has his brains work very differently. I have to say that, and he's a genius in what he does. So he taught me, and he's like, no, Tahir, you're not doing this way. So then what happened is, after doing it so many times, you know, they say practice makes perfect, and that's how I got in. I was like, okay, fine. Like today, whenever I shoot something, if I'm creating content and if I'm doing something, I know that, no, this didn't turn out right, I need to do it again.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of mental preparation, and you know, his workshop was called 4 P's of content.
Okay.
Which is plan, produce, publish, promote.
Plan, produce, publish, promote. Wonderful. Okay.
And when I went first time, he said, tell me what is the most important thing. So I was like, producing,
publishing, promoting. Yeah.
So he's like, no, the most important thing is planning. He's like, if you go planned that what you want to shoot, what is to be said, what is to be done, then you'll be able to do it correctly. But if you go unplanned, you don't think what you want to say, you don't know what is to be said, what is to be done.
Right.
That's the thing. So, you know, that's then coming to my head, okay, this is how it is to be done. And there's a process. And, you know, he's come up with a new thing called USP, which is undeniable social proof.
Not unique selling proposition.
No, that if you say what you do and you have proof of that on socials, it's undeniable, right? True. Because you're doing it.
True, yeah.
You're, you know, putting it out there.
So,
you know, so that those kind of things, it's taken me a lot of time. It's still, I mean, I still fumble at times. I feel, okay, you know, I have to do a retake and all, which is normal. But then once you start doing it again and again, it becomes, you know,
second nature.
It becomes automatically, then you learn. You know?
Second
I mean, I've learned. I mean, it is not something which, you know, I was not naturally good at it, because there are a lot of people who are naturally very good at it, and, you know, they can really present well, and, you know, they can speak in public well. But that's something which I was not really used to. But it's taken me time. But now, over a period of years, it's become better.
It's amazing how you're being vulnerable, and I want to thank you for that. And I think a lot of us, especially me, who's learned so much from you, I have to admit that if it wasn't for you putting stuff out there, I wouldn't know that it's possible. Number one, when you seeing by doing, right? If you're not doing, you're not growing, as you correctly
Yeah.
said. What I'm understanding is, first and foremost about you and your process is, first of all, you have a process.
Yeah, there is a process.
Okay, everything Tahir does, there's a process.
There is a process.
Yeah.
I mean, there are sometimes, impromptu stuff, as
Yeah,
you said.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it happens, but there is a process.
But even behind the madness, there's a method.
Yes.
Somewhere, right? Somewhere it was planned out. Second, you don't shy away from asking for support from experts.
Definitely not. I mean, if someone is an expert in a field and he's doing something really better than you, then I think, you should definitely ask. That is something which, because that's how you learn.
True.
I've always believed in one thing, that when you are with people who are doing better, you get to learn a lot. And that's why when I'm with a lot of people, many times when I'm with people, I'm the least talking one, because I'm listening the most. Because that's how you get to learn,
So, I'm a novice and I need to go and ask an expert, right? Where do I find said experts?
I mean, look, this is where, your personal network and your skills to connect with someone, comes into the play. Where, I strongly believe you should have access to few people
Right.
who are doing far better than you. That if you ever need any advice, you can call them and say, listen, what do you think? Is this the right thing to do, not to do? And who probably have no kind of
Qualms.
qualms, and don't have any how do I put it, any sort of wrong intentions with you failing or you not doing well.
Right.
So I personally believe that should be there.
So we go back to your original point where you said your counsel is important,
Yes, 100%.
right? And people maybe outside the council.
Yeah.
Okay. So networking, for anyone new, this is one of the key reasons when people say network, it's such an abused word. Everyone says network.
Yeah, of course,
network.
everyone's using, but your circle,
Yeah.
your circle of people who who you meet with, very important.
And one of the criteria which you use to pick in your circle is, are they doing better than me? That takes a lot of suppression of your own ego. So how do you go about that?
Look, for me, it's simple, right? If they're doing something better, they're doing better. That means they're doing something right.
Right.
Okay. And if I am, say, on a scale of 1 to 100, if I'm at 10 and the other guy's at 50, obviously he's seen the journey from 10 to 50. Right?
Right.
So he's learned it. He knows, he's seen more. So what's the harm in asking?
Amazing. Amazing.
If someone has done it and is doing much better, so why not ask? Why not learn? Why not ask the person, I want to meet, I want to understand, just talk.
You have a very quiet confidence about you. You come across as somebody who's not your typical sales guy. As in, you're not talkative.
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
I mean, I am what I am, right?
Right.
Now, I first of all, I don't consider myself as a very good salesman. There are a lot of people probably better than me, and but it's like people connect with people. One thing I've realized is if you connect with the right type of people who are
Right.
like-minded,
Right.
that is important. As long as you connect with the right kind of people and all, whether you talk more, you talk less, as long as what you talk makes sense, people will listen to you.
And that's the reason I asked you the question. Because there's this oft thought thing that sales is about talking.
Yeah. No, sales is all about listening. A lot of people who are not able to sell is because they're talking too much and they're not listening to what the client wants. You need to understand what the client wants. If the client is saying, I want white, and you're trying to sell him black, there's no point. He's telling you, I want this. Just find him and, give it to him. So, listening is very important.
Amazing. I don't think anyone's ever said that selling is not about talking, it's about listening.
Yeah, it is about listening, If you listen, it becomes, much easier to understand what the person wants.
And then you process from there.
Yeah.
How hard is it to develop the skill of listening?
I think for a lot of people, it's hard. Trust me, because it takes two things. It takes a lot of patience. Okay. At the same time, it also depends. Like sometimes you come across people who talk a lot and it's probably not worth the time, you're spending on it. So it takes time, but it is, I think, important.
It is
very important. Because look, end of the day, even as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I need to listen to what my staff is saying, what their needs are, requirements are, what challenges they are facing, what issues they are coming across, or what kind of objections they're getting from clients. And if I don't listen to that, I'll not be able to answer.
Right.
I'll not be able to find a solution. So, you need to, somewhere have the ability to listen.
Amazing. Listen. Don't worry about your own opinion. Go and find the opinions of people who are smarter than you.
100%.
Keep a very good counsel around you. Family, friends, whoever they are. But choose your counsel carefully. Right?
Very important.
If your ears are hurting, go to the ear doctor, not the nose doctor.
Absolutely.
So to speak. Right? Motivation is temporary, which is what I've learned from you. It's all about consistency. If you're not consistent, I love what you said. Bills are consistent, so your income better be consistent.
100%. So it's very important.
It's very important. Take the plunge. Take the plunge, right? You're an entrepreneur broker. You could be an entrepreneur in anything. You could want to start a bakery, whatever it is. If the passion is there, the desire is there, take the plunge. And to quote your uncle, if you do it alone, you could do it worth 10 people. But if you do it with 10 people, you could do it worth 100,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, the moment you have people working for you, right, works become much easier.
Don't look at the likes. Don't look at the subscribers.
Stop comparing yourself to people, man. Trust me. There is, look, Dubai is a great place. I love this city. This is my home.
Likewise.
But at the same time, there are also a lot of people who fake things here. And I tell this to even my agents. I tell them, listen, don't care about the award, think of the reward. Because that is important. Nobody knows, or nobody, you see people coming out, oh, I sold this and that. You don't know the harsh reality behind it.
Very true.
There have been so many people who've just fake deals and stuff like that. A lot of things happen. But, I tell people, look, don't go by that.
Right.
As long as you are making money,
Right.
focus on your stuff. Focus on your deals. Don't focus on others' deals.
Right.
They are not going to make you money. Focus on your deals. Just keep thinking how you can better yourself.
Better yourself.
Don't compare and this and that. That's where you start losing focus, and sometimes you start losing motivation.
Absolutely.
Because every time you see and you're like, oh, this guy's doing better than me, this one's doing. So all the time you're seeing is that you feel that you're not doing well.
Right. You spiral.
So don't go in for all that. Just focus on yourself.
I, on behalf of my whole team, John Spinu, Vincent, Luxbridge International Realty Show, want to really thank you for giving us this opportunity.
It's my pleasure.
It's been an honor. It's a
Thank
privilege.
you so much for calling me.
And it's one of my bucket lists to sit across the table. I've
so much.
really
You're
thought
being
about
too
this.
kind. It's nothing like that. It's it's my honor and my pleasure. I mean, for me, it's if it helps anyone, why not?
I sincerely hope so. It helped me. You helped me indirectly when I didn't know you face to face, person to person. You've always been kind. You've always been forthcoming with information. And thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.